So, Bahati, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. My name is Bahati Kanyamanza. I'm the Global Partnership Director with IRAP. I'm a former refugee. I became a US citizen in 2022. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
And tell us a little bit about what you're doing here in DC this week.
This week, we are joining other many refugee advocates, American advocates, advocating for refugee resettlement program, better refugee policies, not only in the US, but also globally. It's an opportunity for us, especially folks with the lived experience of forced displacement, to add our voices because we have been refugees for far too long. I was a refugee for about 25 years. This is the kind of life I live. These are the issues I lived. So I think this is a huge opportunity for us to be able to share practical lived experience with decision-making makers, with congressmen and representatives, and also other international or American organizations that care about these issues.
And why do you feel like it's important for policymakers to hear directly from people who have these lived experiences?
Yeah, it's important for decision makers to hear from people who have experienced these issues because, number one, I usually tell people that practicing one thing, it's something which is good, but also living it is completely different. When I tell my story, sometimes people tend to think that I'm forging or I'm exaggerating, but these are the kind of life so many refugees, possibly displaced people live. They have no access to education, have no access to healthcare. They continue to face persecution. They cannot be locally integrated. Many of them cannot be able to work. Others cannot go to school. But also at the same time, those who want to seek asylum or resettlement in a third country, they don't have those opportunities. So I feel for us who have lived these issues and have gone through the processes, and now somewhere, somehow, we are part of the system addressing these issues. It's important for our voices, for our ideas on how organizations can be able to implement them.
And what's it like for you to come together with a group of people who are also forcibly displaced leaders and to be able to meet up? You're from different countries, you've had different experiences, you're from different states now. So, what does it mean to come together and build community together?
Oh yeah, it's a powerful message. It's a powerful message in a way that this is not only my issue. There are so many people I met, refugee leaders from different states who come from different countries, from the DR Congo I come from Uganda, from Angola, from so many places, Afghanistan, Syria, and so many other places. I think that sends a message that we all care and we are concerned about these issues. And the question is, how do we work together to continue sharing our own stories? Whenever I speak to a colleague who was displaced, they have their unique story. My story is unique, their stories are unique, and bringing these stories together, bringing these experiences together, I think it's a powerful way to not only send a message about policy making, but also best ways we can implement our programs. I think we have ideas, the life we have lived, we have also solutions. And actually, there are studies that show that solutions that come from within are more impactful than solutions that come from outside. You and I can sit here in Washington, D.C., and design, for example, a program for my former refugee people in my former refugee camp. But when we go there, we realize it doesn't work. It's not making sense. So I think working with those who are facing the issues or who face the issues, I think we can make a greater impact and then we can solve so many problems many displaced people are facing.
You're here meeting with congressional offices from Texas. You're living in Texas. What has it been like being a former refugee in Texas? What is the local community like? What are some of the ways that you've seen Texas and Texans be welcoming? And what are the opportunities for growth?
Oh yeah, I've lived in Texas for some time, for a couple of years. I've lived in other states. I think so many Americans care about these issues. They come together to welcome our new neighbors or refugees, help these kids register in school. We help them access education, health services, but also guiding them. The US system is so big and it's hard to navigate it when you're still young, especially when you're still new in America. I think it's important for communities to continue to come together. That's one thing I've seen. Communities come together, faith-based groups, community groups. But I think also the most important thing is to see our representative, our political leaders to be able to enact legislation that will protect these programs. For example, the refugee resettlement program. Many people look at durable solutions. For example, they talk about voluntary repatriation. I fled the DRC about 30 years ago, and will continue to exist in the DRC. It's hard for me to say, okay, I'm packing my stuff, I'm going back to the DRC. And they also talk about local integration. Policies do not allow refugees or forcibly displaced people to locally integrate. And then the third solution is refugee resettlement program. It's a dream for every refugee. Every refugee wants to see that they resettle to a third country where they can rebuild their lives. Their kids can go to school. They have lost so much. But at the same time, it is indicated that worldwide, less than 1% of refugees are resettled. So I think for the US government, for our political leaders, for our policymakers, it's important to look at these issues and continue to enact laws and policies that protect these programs, and making sure that they also enact policies that making sure that these programs are funded. We just saw data which was released showing in the span of 15 years, refugees contribute about 125 billion US dollars. And that's only the economic aspect of contribution. But we come with cultures, we come with beliefs. When we intermix with other communities, we influence one another, in most times in a positive way. So there's so much we can do together, but we have to continue making sure that we speak out about these issues. We support our immigrants and our refugees abroad and also inside the US.
What is IRAP doing to address some of these issues that you're speaking about, and what types of work do you do with IRAP to try and make these ambitions a reality?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting question. IRAP, we are a refugee serving organization. I think one thing I've appreciated at IRAP is the commitment to refugee issues, to making sure that refugees receive legal information they need to use. There are data that show that many refugees continue to be stuck in various refugee camps. So for us to continue creating legal information or information that can help them make better decisions, I think that's key. Continued advocacy is a powerful way to continue holding policymakers and the governments accountable to international law and protection for forcibly displaced people, which we are doing. But also the element of family reunification. We are handling cases of families whose family members were resettled over 10 years. How do you separate a family for over 10 years? And I think that's one of the many aspects we are doing. On my side, on my work, working with refugee-led initiatives. I think it's a powerful way. We can't be everywhere, but also committing our resources and our capacities to support local refugee-led organizations, local organizations that are embedded in the community. I think it's a powerful way for us to extend our services to the places that will be hard for us to reach.